In this day and age, media has now started to cover a very wide span of our lives. Many individuals, including myself, have a love-hate relationship with media, both the social aspects and professional aspects. Several months ago, if someone were to ask me my thoughts on media, I would likely only consider social media, such as Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. However, I have since learned that, of course, media comes in many other shapes and forms, from Netflix to Microsoft Word to a good old book. And there are many things about media that improve all aspects of my life, personally, professionally, and as a student. So, while Moodle may be the bane of my existence, I cannot live without it. Today, I will be examining the shapes and forms media takes in 3 aspects of my life. I won't go into every single little detail on every single little piece of media I use, but I will focus on the ones I use most often. My personal use of media likely covers the largest amount of ground. I would say about 80 to 90% of my personal media usage involves the internet. While I do use other forms of media, like texting or watching television, they take up much less of my time. Typically, I am the audience when it comes to my personal media usage. Social media and texting are a two-way street, but well more than half of the time I am consuming something, whether it's watching a TV show, a YouTube video, looking at an Instagram post, playing a video game, or reading a book. In these scenarios, I am the audience. When it is the other way around, however, my audience is quite small. On social media platforms, I generally do not have a large number of followers, so my audience is just my friends, family, or acquaintances. In other words, typically people I know. If I'm the audience, the purpose is generally for entertainment. Through social media, sometimes I also learn new things, whether it's politics, news, or just what a friend is up to. When I'm sharing things, it is typically also to inform or to entertain. I'll share a picture at the beach, letting everyone know I had a good weekend, or I'll make a meme and crack a joke. There are some things I use personally that I also use as an English student, such as YouTube. The primary goal is typically to convey information to me through readings or videos, or I share the information I have learned through an essay or test. Similar to personal usage, I am typically the audience in the scenario 9 times out of 10. The goal is, for whatever it is I am studying, I am able to learn it in the best way possible. SparkNotes is not the best way to learn about Odysseus. Reading the Odyssey is the best way. On the other hand, when it is time for me to prove my knowledge and/or abilities, it is typically through an essay, such as a Word document. Occasionally, I have also taken tests or used PowerPoints, but as a college student, essays are much more common for me. While in reality, my audience is usually just my professor or a classmate, I cannot always treat it as such. Sometimes I will not know who will read it in the future. I may end up sharing a work with a potential employer or someone else. I have to imagine it is being shared in a scholarly journal or something to ensure I'm doing my best work and making it appropriately formal. This last section is more concerned with my future than the present. I'm hoping to be a high school English teacher, and so this is more about what I predict I will use rather than what I am currently using. Mostly, it would be similar to my media usage as a student, but reversed. When I am teaching, I hope to convey information to my students in fun and interesting ways. Of course, we will have to use things like tests or papers to confirm that knowledge, which usually is not so fun. But my hopes are that I can use things like PowerPoint or YouTube or other interesting readings, or maybe some future media sources that we'll have in the future. Just anything to intrigue my future students. Writing a thesis statement may not be fun, but learning about how to write one could be, in addition to teaching my students, I'll have to work with my colleagues and look at information on how well students are performing, as well as look at future exams and other problems and goals. Email, documents, and PowerPoint will likely most often be used for this communication. To conclude, media is immensely helpful at conveying information to one another. YouTube, Google, and Word may be my most used forms of media in regard to all aspects of my life, not time-wise. There are some cases of media that I could live without, such as Facebook, but should I? Do the pros outweigh the cons? I think in the end, if information I enjoy, whether it be fact or fiction, is being shared with me more often than information I dislike, I think the media source is successful. There are some cases where a media source could be better organized, such as Moodle, but the messages conveyed are very important, and so I must live with its mediocrity until it is updated or the messages are moved to another location. The aspects in which I use media are all such an interesting thing to study. Thanks for watching my video. Have a good day.